warning, this podcast has some swears in it.
I'd rate it PG-13 at most, but let's just be on the safe side and say viewer discretion is advised.
No, we're good. Okay, thank God.
Okay.
Fucking Audacity, do not do this to me. We are just about to fucking get started. I don't need to deal...
Stressing all of us
Please,
out.
I don't need scuff. Again, I can't deal with it today. It's just not... We're not here for scuff. We got like 2 hours to talk. We don't have time.
Yeah, we got shit to get through. A lot of show to get through, as they say.
Time to raise your blades, heroes.
And check some vibes.
It's the Heroes Blade Vibe Check.
So, what's good in the world of Grixis Mean Girls lately?
Enchantments are good.
Mm-hmm.
There's cool new cards that are good. Outside of like that set specifically, though, I don't think I'm putting anything new together in Grixis. I'm actually fucking around with Avacyn a lot lately, which is really weird for me.
Okay. I was gonna say, I've been like, hey, I'm doing the thing, and now I'm like, I gotta play Naya again. Like, I don't do Naya. It's fucking weird, but yeah, we.
I think I just like really like to be a lich, and Avacyn offers the best colors for that.
So you weren't.
Now.
Well, again, we'll get into that. We'll get there, but hey, episode 23, business as usual. First thing, actually, I'd like to talk about before we really get into the swing of things. In terms of stats of the podcast, we're at collectively the podcast plus Uncommon Commander has had a collective of 20,300 views combined, which is like,
oh damn.
I don't know, I think someone might have hit the play button on all the episodes, and then they just did it again, and they were like, cool, here's your extra views to get you over 20,000. I'm like, cool. Did you enjoy doing that? Thanks though. That was great. And then actually
people genuinely like your podcast.
Well, as it turns out, yeah, a lot of people definitely do. The Lenny episode in particular, was a little popular.
Nice.
Hey, Legendary Creature Podcast people know Lenny, I hope, And then in terms of actual Heroes Blade Vibe Check episodes, we're nearly at 3,500 views.
Nice.
So, hey, thanks everyone for listening. We got more down the pipeline. Obviously, next episode is a guest episode. Gonna be figuring that out with some people. Everyone's busy. But we'll figure that out and get back to you for the next episode. All right. New structure like last episode. Let's start with the vibe checks.
All right. So, right off the bat, fucking Squee Dubious Monarch passes the vibe check. This is a guy who I had completely forgotten about until somebody brought him to my attention. And I'm just thinking about him in the context of a mono red aggro deck. Let's take a look at this guy, actually. Squee Dubious Monarch. He costs 2 and a red for a 2/2 legendary creature Goblin Noble. He's got haste, and whenever he attacks, you make a 1/1 red Goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking. And you can cast him from your graveyard by paying 3 and a red and exiling 4 other cards from your graveyard rather than paying its mana cost. So it's like fake escape.
Mm-hmm.
The guy seems pretty solid, actually, if you just play your suite of goblin cards, the Impact Tremors, Perf Daddy, all of that. We just coming down on 3 and being able to immediately swing for 5 is beep beep, motherfuckers.
Yep, I was thinking about it later, but recently, but I'm like, yeah, just 4 or 5 power very early is always, hey, get the Bull of 7, it's great. But yeah, 5 power seems to be like the golden like early game power you're looking for to challenge people's board state.
Mm-hmm. I've been mostly playing like Goblins Burn when I play Goblins, but I might take a look at Squee Dubious Monarch and like play Goblins aggro and just like really get in people's faces and be like, I'm pressuring your life total for very close to lethal way before you were expecting that. Please answer my goblins.
Yep. And speaking of pressuring people in combat, weird transition. My option is Arbaz Mir from the Assassin's Creed set, where it's just your 2-mana 2/2 guy in Boros that says whenever Arbaz Mir or a historic permanent enters, you ding everyone for life and you gain 1 life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a very weird thing because you're like, well, Arbaz Mir wants the Hero's Blade to come out. Now, the other thing too is that you play Hero's Blade first or afterward. That is the beauty of it, because depending on your Arbaz Mir deck, you're usually resetting him in some way. So early, you could get him out, play Hero's Blade, flicker him, have him re-enter, equip the Hero's Blade, but then you also get other historic permanents, including legendary creatures, to enter and also get the blade equipped to it. So it's a good way to like get to have like the flexibility of not trying to compete with a 2-drop and just be like, Arbaz Mir, do the thing, cast Hero's Blade, hit you for damage, flicker Arbaz Mir, equip the Hero's Blade, do damage again. You're consistently doing the thing that Arbaz Mir wants you to do. So, I do need to get, the more that I think about it, dang it, much to think about again. Gotta actually get a spare Hero's Blade copy, I think, because of all the decks that I've been taking apart the last little bit. I have, like, a couple that I can actually slot in. It's just that the Artisan brew of Arbaz Mir that I made and will be talking about later just didn't have the spot for it, and I didn't have one free, so I just did the cool other stuff. And then now I'll be like, time to get that Arbaz Hero's Blade combo going and just, again, continue to pressure life totals, which will be something that I'll talk about when we get to that deck later.
Hell yeah.
I think, yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling like next episode we'll probably have a few more vibe checks to talk about as more of Duskmourn is revealed to us.
Yeah, I think we have the full set out, but next week we'll have had some opportunity for like actually touching the cardboard and experiencing it. So that can help form opinions on what passes the vibe check or not.
The Wandering Rescuer.
Oh yeah, didn't we talk about her last time though?
Yeah. Oh no, no. Actually, well, fun tangent. I was going to bed the other night and I was like, hey, what does the local place have for that super fancy foil promo? To which then I immediately sent you the screenshot of like, dear God, no. It's like already like over like $120 at my local store. So I don't think
look at that price tag and just immediately log off.
It's just, it's time to really just go to bed because I just don't think this is going to be happening. If I do a bunch of trade-ins, I'd maybe consider it depending on if I can get that lady in my Odric Blood Curse deck, but that will be a discussion for later. Let's go to community stuff. We got a few comments for this last week's episode, and thank you all for continuing to comment on Spotify. Also, hey, maybe throw a comment over on YouTube. We still kind of be doing that thing.
Yeah. Shout out to Lenny for the first one here. Says, good discussion. Quinn on me on looking at switching off the gain for my trash aristocrats deck. Grima Wormtongue puts in work. And Cole in the editor's notes here
in the PS, fuck Grima Wormtongue, quote unquote respectable public figure my ass. Also, I gotta open this can. We can't not do an episode without doing a can opening, but
all right.
We gotta do it. We gotta have some measure of consistency. But yeah, no, again, as a point, because again, we'll be going into Odric Blade Curse later, but I was looking at that haste red 3-drop like horror that when it's dealt damage, you can laser someone and then they can't gain life for the rest of the game.
Yeah, Screaming Nemesis.
So it wasn't high on my list of considerations, but it will be something I've been looking at and be like, fine, if I am going to add an anti-life gain tool, it might as well be the thing that I can just blasphemous act on my turn and just fucking laser someone and then also say, get fucked. But yeah, no, Green Horn Tongue, I got some words about that guy.
Yeah, I think switching that off in your Athrea's Trash Aristocrats deck in particular is a good idea because at its base level, that's a burn deck. And you need to, if you're trying to win via burn, it's really hard to do that if people can undo your efforts with life gain.
Agent Washington here saying, jumping on here from the Legendary Creature Discord 2, affectionately known as Garbage over there. Love your work. Keep doing what you're doing.
And thanks so much for reaching out, Naomi.
I gotta get more games in there. Oh well, we'll be doing that soon enough. Next one is from Jalaxed. Red Death is sick, correct. I had a skeleton ship deck that would function off of tap-untap combo lines. The idea being, if you can get an infinite untap, you can at least clear the board with skeleton ship, but hopefully draw a Tim type card to ping everyone out, like Prodigal Sorcerer, Prodigal Sorcerer. Yeah, tap, deal 1 damage. You can't be doing that in blue anymore. What the hell? Red Death would actually be way better in that context. You lose Black Tutors, but instead you get a Mana Dork, a way to keep things off of you, and infinite untap means you mill everyone out. So here's the thing. You do need to have creature targets for Red Death because it is not a mana ability. So, shouldn't be a problem.
That's fine. You can simply play something like Dowsing Dagger if you're afraid that nobody will ever have those, and you can force them to have creatures. There's other stuff that makes your opponents have creatures too, and then boom, instant targets.
Yeah. But yeah, Red Death is sick. I've had a lot of fun with that deck lately. I do think I'll probably be... It's currently in the current rotation of stuff that I'm working with right now, with like Radun Hagadoon and obviously Audric and a few other things. But I think with some new things in the pipeline, I'll probably be putting a couple of those just like out of the rotation until I kind of figure out if I like my new stuff yet. So gonna take a look and see what's going on. But yeah, Red Death's kind of piqued my interest and frustrated some people to no end.
Yeah, that troll-ass crab.
Watch out for the rocks. All right. So, content is a bit of a mixed bag because...
I was not watching a whole lot of content this time around because I was busy brewing.
I was busy being off from work for the week, and I don't know what it is, but sometimes if I'm just, like, off work, I'm like, content? So now that I'm back at work, I've already, like...
No, I actually get that. You need something to distract yourself from the horrors.
I've been busy playing Gundam Breaker 4. And making...
Oh, I hear people are, like, playing with, like, the Gundams like dolls in that game.
Well,
it's
sure.
Like Gundam fashion.
It basically is. Like, at its premise, it seems like your regular kind of, like, hack and slash... assemble your cool robot game, and it's got a very basic bare bones storyline where the villain is like, generative AI is awful, and you're like, wait, why am I not on your side, bro? This is...
I hate it when that happens.
And I'm like, wait a minute, and then but yeah, that's a whole... Maybe I should have opened with that, but yeah, no, Gundam Breaker 4's story is like, it's not winning any awards. It's your pretty bog standard, like, turns out AI can be a real boy or girl, but no one realizes it till the last minute. You're like, all right, so anyway, am I the villain? Are we the baddies? But yeah.
So anyway, giant robots.
Giant robots, cool. Everyone's been doing some funky stuff. Obviously, you get the people who are like, but what if I put the big booba on my girl robot? You're like, okay, Gooner, calm down. And then you got the people who are like, what if I make Optimus fucking Prime that transforms from a vehicle mode to Optimus Prime? And you're like, go on. And that seems pretty fucking sick. Cool. It's pretty sick. Unfortunately, it's a one-way thing because of like a minor glitch of the game, but people are like going around with like their fighter jets and their trains, and then they do a quick little glitch thing, and then they're robots now on like 2 legs, 2 arms, and it's like, let's get ready to fight. You're like, all right, yeah, this is pretty sick. So, yeah, Gunbreaker 4 is basically like, what if I didn't have to build with plastic kits or use paint or anything and make a cool robot in video game? And yeah, it's pretty cool. So I've been having a lot of fun. But
oh, okay, it's Gunpla Simulator.
Yeah, it's Gunpla Simulator where you sometimes like punch, slash, or shoot things and then fight a giant like unicorn Gundam, and you're like, well, this doesn't seem fair. And then people are like, cool, my atomic bazooka goes boom, and then the entire screen dies. You're like, well, that's not fun. So that's basically been like my whole week, on top of like getting my computer reset, and that meant no content until like just before the work week started. So
yeah, you were like throwing hands with your computer over the past week.
It's so far so good. You know, I can edit episodes, so I think we're fine. I just had to reinstall Windows. We're good there. But brewing, while you've been brewing, obviously, you definitely have been, my brewing has been like, what's on the shelf? You know what? Let's fucking do that shit. And then it was like, nope, this doesn't work. What's the next one? Do curses, but again, we'll go into that in a second. But content-wise, it's obviously, hey, new set around the corner, and that involves everyone's preview stuff, getting ready to do streams around the new legendary creatures. I don't think I'm building anything as the commander, but I am definitely looking at a lot of the stuff for 99 stuff. I just think there's a lot of like really cool mechanical stuff in Duskmourn.
Really put on the Sunday best to do some Bloodrick posting.
It's gonna be so good. I made my Twitter thread of, hey, what's Duskmourn bringing to the table? And you're like, rooms? Cool. Razorkin Needlehead, my beloved. I think I will be finding a slot for that pretty soon. So yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff. Rooms, we'll be talking about rooms in a bit. But yeah, so if you're looking forward to like your Duskmourn content is a way to absorb the set in some way, definitely do that. I'm at the moment, Bloodrick rose-tinted goggles looking at the set, and then there'll be some like other top-ups for other decks as time goes along. I do want to get like that Fear of whatever that does burn damage at 6 mana. Like, it's an uncommon.
Fear of Burning Alive.
Yeah, super sick. Can't wait to like somehow get Delirium and then just start burning people's shit.
Oh, I think you can get Delirium very easily in that particular Bloodrick deck, if you're playing that.
I don't know. So I don't think that goes in Bloodrick, but I do think that goes in a few other red decks that I've got on the shelf.
Gotcha.
Red Dragon, cool card, but there's this like Red Dragon Plus, and like that's we just love Red Dragon.
We do love Red Dragon. Red Dragon flies, though, is the thing. This Fear of Burning Alive just...
All right, listen, let's just have them grab hands in the same deck and we'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll make 2 copies of both of them.
Yes, you see the vision. So yeah, as part of this, Duskmourn has, hey, Rhystic Studies made a video called The Molting House, as it's a tour of Duskmourn, in terms of preliminary design, 80s horror, and like quote-unquote modern like modern like folklore stuff, which in retrospect, I know a lot of people's criticism of Duskmourn has been like, oh, it's like modern, it's 80s slasher and like really campy movies and shows and stuff, and like Bloomborough, that doesn't appeal to me. I prefer like Innistrاد's horror to this horror, but in terms of just set mechanics wise, like this set just has way more cool shit in it.
I think the flavor on it is appealing, but I'm kind of just like a fan of magic. I like a lot of it, no matter what they do.
Hey, Are you guys gonna critique Magic? I mean, when we want to, but like in general,
Maybe.
we're enjoying.
Sorry, it is my favorite game.
I'm
always
sorry,
excited
like-
that they're always printing new pieces for my favorite game.
Say what you will, call it like the
Not to kiss the ring too hard, but I do love Magic the
yeah,
Gathering.
you know, I do love boot kissing, you know, WotC and all this other shit. But I'm not sponsored, and I'm not being paid by them, and I have my criticisms. But Duskmourn, cool. So like, I'm good. Also, and just yeah, no, a lot of cool set stuff here. But anyway, so Rhystic Studies Duskmourn episode. Go check that shit. It's great. 2 last mentions here. Well, I guess technically 3 because of something I keep forgetting to put on the docket. God damn it. Okay. Two things here. One by Salubrious Snail and one by the Trinket Mage. And they both seem to go hand in hand because it talks about the nuances of Commander and playing and everything. And of course, between the two of them, the shared theme is, of course, wanting your Commander deck to do the thing and the context of why and why not you can't do that. And also the nuances of like how Commander used to be played versus the way things are now. They both go hand in hand. One directly references the other. You even get Salubrious Snail being part of the intro of the Trinket Mages episode. So I do encourage that you watch both of those. Salubrious Snails first, and then the Trinket Mages. Just as sort of a think piece, you know?
Mhm.
And the last one is I didn't get to mention Brew Review. They have a new episode out where they discuss and review a Kellan the Fey-Blooded Curses deck, which was a pretty neat concept, something that someone had been working on for quite a while, and something that has been inspirational to me. Not something I will discuss too heavily this episode, but you might maybe be something you hear about in the future, so we'll get into that later.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's just get into Decks and Brews, because we're just kind of zooming, and I believe we have the power to not only talk about games and stuff, but eventually even get to the soapbox of this episode. I believe.
Let's get to it.
But I've been talking for like ever, so you're up first.
All right. So I have been playing some EDH on MTGO because I want to explore different metagames and whatnot. And there's like homies in the creator program who I want to be able to like jam games with. So I'm just like feeling that out, seeing what's up. I put together this Necrobloom deck on there with it's like the Golgari Fine Lasher deck ported to EDH. I think I've talked about that here before. And if not, then, well, we'll get into that some more. But, yeah, we've been playing that there. So here's a specific game experience that I had. I'm on there playing that deck. I named it Grief's Infernal Flower after the album by Windhand, and because it's a just fucking disgusting flower in the command zone. So yeah.
Oh, no, Necrobloom's freaking horrendous.
Yeah. So I'm playing that. My opponents are on Ulalek with the Eldrazi. We've got a Cyrix Phoenix's deck, actually.
Oh, hell
And
yeah.
Yeah. But there was also the Mariki Rebarrett, like Esper Theft Control deck.
Oh,
who
okay. I
was
have
also
not seen that in a long time.
I feel like there's always one of, like, not that deck in particular, but there's always one person who's, like, air quotes, that guy on that metagame. I'm experiencing a lot of that. And they're just kind of rude in their deck building.
You don't need to get me started. Again, like I said, I haven't seen it in a while because the friend who makes it, Chris, who I've mentioned quite a few times in episodes past, just tends to build the most trolliest decks, and you're like, hey, you please not do that. That'd be great. But he doesn't.
They're just like, the second the game plan doesn't go their way, they like bounce out, and it's just like, my guy, can you
commit to the bid? Come on.
yeah. So anyway, I'm just like playing a couple of the landfall life gainer guys like the Jaddy Offshoot and Kazandu Nectarpot or whatever. I've got an Oracle of Moldiah that gets stolen by the Esper Theft Mage, and then the Eldrazi player swings like a large at them, and they use my Oracle to block, so I'm getting my shit snatched and then removed, and that's a little bit tilting, but I'll get over it. And Cyrix is pointing the burn damage from Phoenixes having died to leave the graveyard. I don't remember what exactly the conditions are, but he's pointing burn damage at my landfall life gainers. So I'm just like, all right, can't have shit around here, but that's fine because I'm doing a bit of milling here and there. I'm filling up my graveyard. We land an Underrealm Lich, and we start really like selecting cards and filling up the yard that way. And Cyrix, rightfully, of course, tries to blow that up too, but like, it's got that activated ability on it, so you can pay for life and tap it to give it indestructible. I do that, and people, they get the message, they leave it the fuck alone from there. And eventually I'm at 8 lands, and I've got a reprocess in hand, and we've got an Underrealm Lich and a Jaddy Offshoot on board.
No. Okay.
Yeah, so if gamers are unfamiliar, reprocess is a sorcery for 2 black that lets you sacrifice any number of like artifacts, creatures, and lands, I think. And you draw cards equal to the number of things sacrificed. So with that and the Underrealm Lich, I'm set up to like look at a bunch of cards, and we fucking go for it because I don't have the like Splendid Reclamation in my hand. I'm just like going for it, and I figure if I look at enough cards, it should be fine, and we'll find something that'll get me there. So I float all of my mana, I cast Reprocess, and I leave just enough to cast Splendid Reclamation after we cast it. We crunch all of our lands, and the Underrealm Lich shows me 3 cards 8 times, so I'm looking at 24 cards, and we dump just so many lands into my graveyard, because I'm on 41 lands in that deck, because I'm about that life for fucking lands Lich deck. And on the last look, gamers, there it is. Splendid Reclamation.
Oh,
so we cast
okay.
that.
Good. Jeez, I thought you were just gonna brick.
No, I've done that before. Sometimes the heart of the cards is not with me, and I do brick. I did that on the Mental Misplay stream the other day. I was just like, there's a good chance that I find it, the thing that I'm looking for, and if I find it, then I win the game. And if I don't, then, well, I was probably supposed to die here anyway, and that's fine too. So I just fucking ripped it and didn't find it there, and we died. It'd be like that.
But not this time.
In this case, though, we find that. We cast it, we rip a Field of the Dead and 21 other lands from the graveyard to the field, and we trigger Landfall.
Oh, shit.
We make 22 zombies and gain 22 life. And the Esper Theft Mage has since scooped by this point. They did get 4 lands exiled from the Ulamog player, so who can blame them? But also can't really blame the Eldrazi player for doing that because of the things that the Esper Theft Mage was up to. Actions, they be having consequences. And Cyrix is just like, in the chat, well, I'm dead.
GG's.
Ulalek isn't tripping, though. They're suspiciously calm during all of this. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking end the game right here. You should probably just move on so I don't have to click through all these triggers.
You can't, no, Quinn, you can't just hit GG while the Evercool player is staring. Did I not go over this when the opponent, like, totally thought they had me dead with an infinite combo loop with, like, an Artwin deck on Arena?
Did.
And I said, like, lol, Lamau. So anyway, continue, keep going.
All right, so they're suspiciously cool during all of this cucumber mode, truly. Because on their turn, they cast Emrakul, the World Anew, and they use Ulalek to copy all spells and abilities on the stack, and that lets them steal everyone's creatures, not just one player's.
Fuck.
But they copied all spells and abilities on the stack, which means they copied Emmy too.
Mm-hmm.
So the token and the real copy resolve, and you've got to pick one to put into the graveyard to the legend rule. So they get rid of one of them, and that triggers the death clause on Emrakul that says when that happens, you have to sacrifice all of your creatures. So they steal everything and immediately lose it all. And we are all fucking losing it in the chat. Did not see that coming at all.
I mean, to be honest, mentally, I also did not expect that, but holy shit.
I figure I can still probably put it together from here, though, because I did take the best 8 of the 24 cards that I saw last turn. I found Zombie Bantu and a Lich's Mastery in there.
Ah, good old Gone Eternal.
And we cast the Lich's Mastery last turn, so I'm thinking, like, we're probably gonna be okay. We just need to regrowth of the Vine Lasher in my graveyard, and we'd probably be able to find another Splendid Reclamation effect in the next 22 cards. And if not, then Lich's Mastery will keep us safe and aid us in finding the last combo piece. So we cast that, and we're good to pass the turn, but I'm not safe. Bitch, you thought. They cast an All Is Dust.
Oh!
And I had to sacrifice my Lich's Mastery.
These frickin' Eldrazi players, I tell you.
And gamers, if you don't know, Lich's Mastery says, when that leaves the battlefield, you lose the fucking game. So with the terms of my dread bargain violated, I fucking died.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you're not able to tether your soul to this plane, see ya fucking later.
Oh, man, they got my ass.
And all of that on MTGO. That's pretty crazy.
You really see some shit out there. It's wild. And the interface was like alien and intimidating.
Oh, I'm sorry, fucking 1995 fucking Windows 94S fucking interface.
Yeah, it looks very like, it looks exactly like that.
We need, okay, so like my thing, and this kind of goes into the whole like my mental perception of like digital stuff, right? Like we're in the crazy digital age right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't have a disk drive in my computer, so even if I wanted to get a disk computer game, I'd just rather buy it off Steam, and then if Steam shuts down, it's fucking Jover if I lose that shit. And then it kind of goes into the same thing of like playing Arena, and don't even get me started on when I think about MTGO. Sorry, MTGO.
I actually
you guys have had sick
a little bit about that.
You like
Continue.
MTGO has had, you know, don't get me wrong, MTGO and doing the partnership thing has been super sick. I love the advertising when they did the whole thing with Eliana, and the blank. Didn't they do that? Like Eliana had a thing. She was holding up like a giant oversized card.
Oh,
and,
yeah, that giant oversized card, and they're just like blanked that out and like.
Yeah. Like, you know, whoever's doing the MTGO thing, great. The fact that it's still going, great. I just don't. I just can't dealing with it. The other thing too is that just because of like the ownership rights of a lot of the IP Universes Beyond stuff that's been going on, like those cards aren't on MTGO for the most part. And a lot of people are frustrated about that for like Legacy. I'm like,
There's a lot of them that are, but there's a lot of them that aren't, so I understand.
If I can't put pre-war formalware in my Odric Blood Curse deck that I would make on MTGO, I'd rather just die. So
they have so many other cards on.
I know. I'd be playing some like whatever other variant of Odric Blood Curse that I couldn't build in paper or just had in the back burner or whatever.
Yeah,
but
you would find another cool spot. I didn't have an incarnation technique in the deck that I had originally built for Avacyn but
yeah.
I ended up swapping that for a card that they did have, which I think Spider Spawning is the one that I went with. But it could have been anything.
Good old classic Spider Spawning. I mean, heck.
Yeah. I just want to like fangirl a tiny bit about MTGO though. We rewatched the professor's video on how to like get into that, which was extremely helpful and reassuring.
Speaking of content, you go check out. Anyway.
Oh yeah, I guess that's content that we watched. It just wasn't recent, so I wasn't thinking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I can definitely put that link in there. It was really helpful for learning the interface and
how to navigate
a lot of good cards to work with. There's this like Commander, like these are good cards that are popular in Commander bundle that you can spend. I forget exactly how much it is on it, but it's like the price of a precon damn near. So you can like cop that and you get like 5 of 10 Mirren swords,
What the
There's
fuck?
like all 5 Praetors are in there. There's
okay. Okay.
I put together this like Rakdos token aggro deck with Mishra claimed by Gix, and I had my Phyrexian Dragon Engine in the 99. There's a Bolus's Citadel in there. I have a Bitter Blossom, Krankos 1 and 2. There's a Wishclaw Talisman to help me find my Dragon Engine.
And MTGO, I'm sorry, I didn't recognize your game.
Yeah, and the thing about spending like actual real world money for fucking JPEGs
Or
is
for ticks is like wild. Oh, it's wildly like disproportionate to like
it's
real paper.
weird, but you can actually link the digital cards to real world cards. Like if you get the full set of a set, you can turn that into wizards, and they like turn the JPEGs in your collection into dust or whatever, and send you the physical cards. And that link there is more like
Wait,
I understand.
They still
Yeah.
do. They still do that. I thought they.
Yeah.
Okay, huh? The more you know. Shit, I thought that was something they didn't do anymore, but I guess I'm wrong. Listen, I'm only eyeballing paper and webcam magic. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but that is still pretty cool. I did not know they still kept doing that.
Yeah, so it's wild and kind of fine. Maybe if you're interested, look into MTGO gamers.
Until like MTGO crashes because some shit happens and you're like,
Yeah, there's a certain amount of jank that you gotta accept from the client.
hold on. Oh no. They turn on the fucking bird. Hold on. No. Also, this is staying in the episode. Damn you, you stupid rat. How do I turn this shit off? Fuck. Don't move. Don't do that shit. Okay? You both are rats. I don't want this fucking... I don't know. We busted out a bunch of cat toys recently. My girlfriend was taking care of a friend of hers cat and brought all the cat toys. And don't hit the fucking bird again, Nero. Don't do it. I can't edit that out. All right. Anyway. Chirp, motherfucker. But yeah, MTGO, cool stuff. Maybe try it out, maybe.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of jank that you have to accept from the client, but once you get your like brain wrapped around that and what to expect from it, it's a pretty neat experience. And being able to find Commander games at literally any hour is neat because, you know, sometimes you want to play like regular ass EDH, but you don't want to use your fucking voice, and that's fine.
Yeah. Again, I think can't remember who I was following on Twitter who tweeted this. Maybe it was Rebel Lily, but it was like, oh yeah, let's just play like CDH, and obviously like if you take some measure of physicality out of it, you're like, cool, so I'm obviously gonna like not let this shit fly or whatever, or like you miss sequence because there's no way for you to like read your opponents. So then you like, yeah, it's very interesting to think about like Magic, where you just basically go like, play cards, tap mana, play card, gestures in direction of opponent, and the opponent just gives you a thumbs up and then also starts playing. And it's like, yeah, okay, cool. Some people can't tolerate that shit, and some people are all about that. And, you know, hey, find your balance. Find your peace, bro.
100%. All right, what you got for us?
Okay, so look, it's been a while.
It's been a while
since I've done some like Odric shit, so we gotta talk about this, okay? So look, it's Odric fucking redemption time. And I say Odric redemption time, but like in the last couple months or so, I've been putting some old decks back in circulation. I've made new decks, so I had to get my feel for them, and that meant Odric was not being played as often. Now, of course, when we got to sit down... we got to sit down with Kyle and Andy from the Legendary Creature podcast for a game. Particularly where Andy was like, yo, what's up, guys? I just rolled out of bed. Oh, we're playing against Cole and Quinn. Cole, where the fuck is your Odric Blood Curse deck? I'm like, all right, fine. Sure, call me out on my shit. And then with Kristen, I was like, yeah, obviously we fucking gotta play Odric. Because, like, I'm not playing Boros, and we're not playing Boros without me putting this shit down. And God, of course, I've been up to no good, as usual, with that deck. So.
You really have. Goodness.
Now, the redemption. holy fuck. This is one of those prime examples of, on one hand, so here, let's set the scene right. So, we've been trying to play with Donnie and Jen of the MTG Filthy Casuals for, like, what felt like forever, but it's probably only been a few months. But, like, just, you know, hey, you know what, life shit happens. We haven't been able to do it.
Gamers is busy.
Like, just, hey, can we do it today? Yeah, something came up. Fuck. All right, reschedule. No problem. Finally got stars aligned. We're here. It's happening. And you know what? If anyone who doesn't know, especially some of the people who are new to the podcast or maybe haven't heard us mention Donnie and Jen. So Donnie and Jen are a lovely couple that you can find online. They do streams together, you know, once every week? Twice every week, I think, give or take.
Yeah, something like that.
And, you know, you got to deal with the fact that they're sharing the same microphone, and if you don't know which side of the screen you're looking at, because Donnie could be, like, getting away with shit, and then you hear Jen going off on the side, fucking choking him in the distance, like, you know, it's domestic, like, couple shit that you get when you deal with these two. But also, they are certified threats when it comes to Commander. And so that means that you have to fucking buckle up and deal with the fact that if you're not dealing with Donnie, you're dealing with Jen and vice versa. So, again, setting the scene. It's Donnie and Jen. I'm in trouble. Donnie's like, I'm going to play the Miss Bumbleflower Precon. And I'm like, well, I don't trust that shit to save my fucking life. And he also countered something early on with an offer you can't refuse. And I was just like, what the flying fuck? And Jen was playing an Angels deck with fucking...
Yeah, she had Zamriel from the most recent Game Nights box.
Fucking
and
who and what? And you're like, excuse me?
Angels and real strong equipment. The Angels were like... The 4/4/2 or
the 4-mana 2/2s
with flying and protection from one color or whatever. So she's not like playing like top shelf angels, but she is playing like flyers that will beat you over the head with swords of X and Y.
So and of course, and then Jen's also like, yeah, but no board wipes. I'm like, Jen, for the love of God, please play a board wipe. Quinn is over in the corner. Donnie has 2 or 3 like giant monsters from freaking Bloomborough and beyond, and I'm just sitting in the corner with Audric just being like, well, you know what, like, my shit's being countered, my shit's being dealt with. I don't think
we're fully, like...
Oh,
Man had, like, 4 Mana Gorger Hydra effects. Like, it's not just 4 giant creatures. Like, they are actively growing every time you take a game action.
So it was a problem, right? And then, of course, we have Quinn in the corner accumulating sheer value by just, like, stealing everyone's shit, but mostly from Jen. Just be like, hey, you got sick angels and equipment. And Jen's like, yeah, I do. And then you get, like, Sword of Sinew and Steel and whatever the fucking white and blue one are.
Yeah, I'm playing Grixis Spell Theft, but I also have that spell Wake the Dragon that makes a dragon token that steals an artifact if it deals combat damage to a player. So I'm, like, exiling the top card of her library because she's got sick flyers and sick equipment, and I want to break me off a piece of all of that.
So, be me, listeners. It's not a good time, all right? I'm so fucked. I'm so
Vance
boned.
is sweating.
I'm trying desperately to get some measure of card advantage out of Audric and my creatures. It's just shit. I'm like, discard, crack a blood token, crack a blood token, discard draw, jack shit, no board wipes in sight. It's over. It's Jover. I can't believe it. And then Donnie, in a moment of sheer ridiculousness, was like, well, Quinn can kill both Cole and Jen, right? And fucking pieces it out with the new fucking Teferi's Protection plus make birds.
Yeah, he casts Purge Protection and gives me an extra fucking turn.
I'm like, what the fuck? And he's just like, ha ha ha! I'm like, fuck you, Donnie. What the fuck is this horse shit? And then, of course, Quinn goes through the turn, no big deal. Jen's like, well, I'm bone, I can't do anything. I'm like, you are all disappointing me. And of course, you know, I'm trying to deflect ownership of anything that's going on because I'm just so upset of this entire situation. But what was even more ridiculous, after Quinn's absolutely monstrous extra turn during my turn, or was it Donnie's turn? I can't remember. Just like, it was my turn, then Donnie pieced out, then it was your extra turn, then it was Jen's turn, then it was your turn again, and then it goes back to Donnie phasing
I
in
resolved
with
a Havoc Festival on that extra turn.
Yeah, it was it was over. It was Jover. It was like Havoc Festival. Like speaking of prevention of life gain, plus the guess what we're losing. Like
that clock is rapidly advancing.
You want a 6 mana Rakdos enchantment that just says you're gonna lose half your life total rounded up when you hit your upkeep. Fucking beep beep. We don't have time. Let's go. Holy fuck. So I'm fucked. Donnie comes back in from his coward fucking phantom zone and then plays more creatures. He still has several large mana gorger like creatures out and then passes the turn. And I'm like, what? And Quinn, you're like, what?
He has so much open mana and just passes the turn. And I'm just, bro, what?
And now, granted, you have to think, well, he's playing a pre-con, but we're talking about a pre-con made in 2024, and it's Miss Bumbleflower, so, like, what the fuck is going on here? But, okay.
This bunny has hands, gamers.
Random target creature gains flying, what the fuck? So, anyway, okay. So, weird, but alright, we can deal with this. Whatever, I untap. Now, it's not like my board state was completely trash, but just what I had in board was just bare bones. But I did have a Fomori Vault, and I did have 3 artifacts in play. So I'm like, okay, we're desperate. Let's activate Fomori Vault. So, Fomori Vault, you pay 3, tap it, discard a card to look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of artifacts you have in play, and then you're able to look at among them, put 1 in your hand, the rest of the bottom in a random order. So I'm like, okay. I'm desperate because the only thing I have in my hand besides a land is Molten Psyche, which also has Metalcraft and then deals damage equal to the number of cards that people have drawn that turn after forcing them to wheel X equals their hand size. So, it's not killing everyone. Everyone is at, like, near sub 15, if not less life. So I'll go down to, like, sub 10. I couldn't tell you. I'd have to look back at the VOD or whatever. And I'm like, okay. Fomori Vault. What do we got? I could not fucking believe what I had found. The Holy Grail. The way that you swoop in to win a game if no one has a fucking counterspell. So I find Aloran Searing Light. I fucking love this.
Not again.
I can't keep getting away with it. So, in case anyone doesn't know, because I feel like we talked about this card a bunch of times, and just like main deck Aetherize, you just keep getting got by this fucking thing. I don't know how it keeps happening. Go ahead and
read it out to him. Go ahead and quote that scripture.
Okay, alright. So you got 2 white and a red for an instant. And this is from the Lord of the Rings extended artwork holiday bullshit set, whatever. So it's an instant that says, your opponents exile a creature with the highest power among creatures they control. But there's more! To which it says Spell Mastery, which you have to have 2 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard to be able to do this. That your opponents also take damage equal to the power of the exiled creature. Now, I don't know if anyone's played with, like, Soul Shatter in black, where your opponents also get to sacrifice, like, the highest power of... Or is it highest mana value? I don't know. Didn't matter in this case. Way better in this turnout.
Yeah.
I went from I'm losing this game to immediately I win this fucking game. So
your man starts fucking cackling when he draws this. And I'm just, bro, what do you have?
It had to be seen to be believed because I just could not believe it. I couldn't believe it. I was laughing mad. I made a fucking TikTok of it because I'm like, I have to share this with the world. And Quinn's like, what the fuck? Jen and Donnie start also laughing because of just I'm peaking my mic. Like, Discord cannot handle the amount of laughter I have. And Quinn's just like, bro, what the fuck is going on?
Mance has gone truly sick of
and
me.
like,
and
you think...
Like, what are you on about? And you just, Aloran Searing Light.
Yeah, so just fucking, oh my god. So the TLDR of this whole story is that I won that fucking game out of fucking nowhere. And you know what? I kind of deserved it, but I didn't really. But it sure fucking felt like I deserved it after the fucking salt mine that I was generating just by existing. That's
This
why.
fucking guy.
This is why I keep playing that deck, because, like, you know, there's some times where, like, shit doesn't happen, and I'm okay with that, because Odric, like, sits in that nebulous state of, like, you could not be playing Odric Bloodcursed and play, like, just a better Boros Legend and all this other shit, but, like, this is the shit where, like, the stars align, and people are fucking greedy, and you just are like, cool, so I'm gonna play a Lauren Searing Light, because I don't care if I'm paying 4 mana to just fucking get rid of your best shit, and also fucking kill you. But it's even better in just this case, where it's just like, oh no, wait. It's not just you die, or you die. All 3 of you fucking bite it. And I said, so after laughing for like a minute straight, I cast the Lauren Searing Light, to which I also then said, show me your fucking motherfucking counterspell or fucking eat it. And then all of you were like, yep, I'm fucking dead.
Oh yeah, got all of our asses.
Oh, man. But yeah, anyway, so go pick up your Lauren Searing Light at your LGS and just start making people fucking bleed from their eyeballs when they keep getting fucking got by that fucking card.
Good card gamers. Boros Edicts in my area. It's more
likely than you think. Ugh. So yeah. I did kind of hint at it, well, we talked about it a bit earlier, but with Duskmourn coming out, probably too much, like, I don't know, I have 2 Odric Bloodcurse decks. The main one, Odric Prime, Bloodric Prime, is the one that I tend to fiddle with more and play with more often. I barely played with the other one, but I should probably give it a go. But with Duskmourn coming out, I just have, like, I have way too many card considerations, and even making cuts for Bloomburrow was a bit of a pain, because everyone was like, what about all these cards? And I'm like, nah, they don't do it. Parting Gust made the cut, and because it could be an exile spell while gifting something, or it's a flicker back on the next end step spell. But it does a dual purpose. It happens to have some cute critters on it, but Duskmourn just seems to offer me way more. Razorkin, it was on the list earlier. Razorkin,
Transmogran.
Razorkin Needlehead.
Oh, Needlehead.
The one that says, while it's your turn, it has First Strike for a 2-mana 2/2. And if your opponents draw cards, they take 1 damage. And you're like, cool, great. That is probably at the tippity top of, like, the consideration list, while there's, like, a descending number of, like, the Wandering Rescuer, which has, like, Invoke. There's that new red spell that you can either redirect a spell, abrade something for destroying an artifact, and then also like choosing up to 1 or 2 creatures that can't block this turn. So it's a combat trick, a pseudo counter spell, and then just like your typical artifact destruction spell. And it's like, cool. Like, I love fleshing out my removal. Sweet. And there's some rooms that I'm heavily considering from the set, because the room designs are like super duper cool.
Oh yeah, we are extremely eyes emoji at room.
But yeah, so Odric posting for the episode done. I felt like I've proven my point when it comes to that deck and that particular game. Yeah, that's it. What do you got?
Oh yeah. I got... See, this is where I put a placeholder in the notes doc about Valgavoth, because I was going to talk about that, but I just am not as inspired to talk about that as I am about the other thing that I brought here. And, like, maybe we'll get to Valgavoth posting or whatever, but he's kind of just a mono black control win condition in the command zone. You play that, you've built the deck and the game state up to that point to be the kind of thing where you play Valgavoth and you win the game.
I don't know, it's another elder demon that does, like, busted shit in its own way, so...
Yeah, you spent 9 mana on it, you deserve to win the game or whatever. It's fine.
It's fine, no big deal. Okay, so the real shit you're bringing to the table.
Yeah, so the real shit that I'm actually, like, particularly passionate about is, I want to talk about rooms. I've always been to more card per card mechanics with like split cards and aftermath cards and adventures.
You know,
in
yes, I
particular.
know. They're like try to fit as much card text on a single face, and then they realize they can't keep getting away with it, so they made another face. And we've had our era of MDFCs, so now we have rooms.
I'm always trying to like if there's a mechanic that's like you get this many card per card, I'm looking at it. So we put together the room's commander, Marina Vendrell, who's a Wooburg for a 3/5 and human warlock. When she enters, you reveal the top 7 cards of your library, put all enchantment cards from among them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And you can tap her to lock or unlock a door of target room you control, activate only as a sorcery. So yeah, she's Wooburg and casting cost. You can play all 5 colors if you want to. I only wanted to play Grixis rooms though, so I only built Grixis rooms.
Can't be getting off your Grixis mean girl shit.
I really can't. They can't stop me. And Ezio kind of just like filled me with this sense of confidence of like, I don't actually need all of the colors that they provide me with on Legend. I can do whatever I want.
Oh no,
So-
we're going in for Ezio Auditore di Firenze Part 2, except just Grixis.
Yeah, basically. Like, I figure I can just cast my commander off of bobbleheads, or I have Yavimaya in the 99 because that's a legal inclusion in a Grixis deck because it doesn't have a color
It doesn't have a
identity.
color identity yet.
So it would be in there, or could be in there regardless.
Same with Urborg and everything
Yeah,
else.
exactly. So we've got bobbleheads, we've got that, and we've got command towers. I think I splashed for Mana Confluence on this one because Marina's a little bit more like integral to the game.
I mean,
potentially.
hard 5-color versus monocolor with a 5-color activation. Little bit more integral.
Yeah. So we've got a mana base that works to cast Marina, and it also casts all of my spells and all that. I'm playing this like sweet mid-range value deck, basically. It's got card advantage and interaction, and it's all stapled to rooms. There's rooms that like draw cards. There's the Cramped Event and the Access Maze. I use that to burn a good value creature. It deals damage, I think like 5 or 6 damage to target creature, and you gain life equal to the excess damage dealt to it. Then the other half of it, you unlock that for like 5 and black, and then once per turn you can cast a spell from your hand with paying with your life total instead of mana.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah. Okay.
So that one's pretty cool. I was drawing extra cards on my end steps with the Unholy Annex half of Unholy Annex Ritual Chamber. That one's like a Phyrexian Arena, kind of. You lose 2 life.
Well,
on end step and draw a card.
Phyrexian Arena plus the fact that it has the second half is like kind of nuts.
It's I hesitate to call it a Phyrexian Arena plus.
Okay,
because
so-
Phyrexian Arena has a little bit of a difference in that you only pay 1 life per card.
Yeah, no. I will be getting into this. Yeah, no, we're getting to that soapbox this episode.
Yeah, we can
Fuck
talk
that.
about
We
that.
can get
More
there. We can get there. We
nuanced
can get there.
Discussions of Phyrexian Arenas and the nuances between them. But yeah, so I was drawing extra cards with this one. I think that's pretty cool. The Ritual Chamber, you can spend 3 black and unlock it, and you make a 6/6 flyer. So it like sets you up to draw cards, and then you deal burn damage to your opponents if you have a demon. Otherwise, you pay 2 life for the card. That's pretty cool. I got to make some pretty respectable attacks. I had a fear of failed tests, which when it deals combat damage, you draw that many cards. And Silent Hall Creeper, which is a rare that has 3 different combat damage triggers that you get to pick one of each time it deals combat damage. One of them draws a card, another one puts 2+1/+1 counters on it, and then the last one, you can have it become a copy of a creature you control.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. So I've got that all set up. I'm drawing some cards. I'm playing my mid-range value game. And then I come across Marina Vendrell's Grimoire. And gamers, we just talked about how much I love to roleplay a Lich. This is another card that lets me do that. When that enters, if you cast it, you draw 5 cards. You have no maximum hand size and don't lose the game for having 0 or less life. Whenever you gain life, you draw that many cards, and whenever you lose life, you discard that many cards. Then, if you have no cards in hand, you lose the game. This card really looks at blue mages and be like, oh, so you all treat cards in hand like your functional life total? A word? Prove it. Show me how much you mean that. And it literally makes your life total your cards in hand.
This is the one thing that makes me laugh about this particular card, because you have the Lich Effect fans who are like, fuck yeah, we got another one of these, this is awesome. And then you have like the what's that Jeskai gift giving card from like Commander 2011? Zedruu. Yeah, the Zedruu players are like, I can't fucking wait to give you that shit so you can lose the game. And you're just like, yes, perfectly balanced as all things should be.
I think Zedruu players also kind of want to hold on to it.
They want to hold on. No, for sure. They want to hold on to it as long as possible. And then when they're like, cool, I've had my piece with this, and they give it to someone who's like, but if I take it, I'll die. And they're like, and that's the point.
Just like, here, you can have that, and then trigger Descent into Avernus, everybody take 10, and oh, you need to discard 10 cards, but I only have 3 in hand.
Exactly. Die.
Awkward. So anyway, I've got that, I ascend to Lichdom by casting that, and everybody's just like, ooh, neat. I go to combat, and I swing at the homie with a Fear of Failed Tests, who, like we talked about, has that Cold Eye Selkie text. And then I'm swinging at another player with the Fear of Infinity, which is a 2/2 flyer with lifelink, which with my Grimoire, it also gives it that Cold Eye Selkie text.
Oh, sick. Hell yeah.
There's the other player who is on Levon, Cultist of Tiamat, and Scion of Halaster. They cast a bunch of instants targeting my Fear of Failed test to give it Shadow, and the Levon triggers all give it the +X+0 until end of turn. And so it's unblockable. It's gonna get in there for combat damage. I end up crunching in and dealing 15 damage and drawing 15 cards, and 2 more for the lifelink. And this isn't like a silly like attack or whatever. We're like actually like, well, I mean, it is, because I shouldn't be allowed to draw these many cards, but we are actually trying to answer an existential threat, because the homie's on fucking Commodore Guff over in the corner there. And they're dealing a bunch of damage to us via Commodore Guff's like minus trigger that it deals the burn damage and draws the cards. And there's like 5 planeswalkers, and one of them is Teo, who's capable of like shaping combat or whatever. So we gotta get in over there before we no longer have the ability to anymore. So anyway, my life total is now in my hand. I'm at 28 cards in hand, and I feel pretty invincible. That's like a respectable life total, right? Yeah.
In a commander game? For sure, yeah.
We hope we aren't made to discard. We get through the homie's turn. The homie on Commodore Guff activates that, and we have to discard some cards to that. And they get some Chandra emblems stacked up too that are going to complicate things. And out of the utmost respect for my lichdom and recognizing the cards in my library as part of my life total, they hit me with 2 ultimates of Party Jace, and so I have to put just a bunch of fucking cards in my graveyard.
Oh no.
I'm discarding a bunch of creatures to the burn damage, interacting with my grimoire. But I've got a plan. I've got a room in my hand that when unlocked will return all creatures from my graveyard to the battlefield. So I just need to hang on, and we make it. We get to my turn. I cast that, and we unlock the Awakening Hall, half of Funeral Room Awakening Hall. The Funeral Room half is basically like Bastion of Remembrance. A creature you control dies, each opponent loses a life, you gain a life. And then Awakening Hall, it's like that one-sided Rise of the Dark Realms. You just return all of your creatures from the graveyard to the battlefield.
Sick.
So I return all of my creatures, 11 of which are enchantments, and the most either have Constellation or Eerie triggers. So, you know that thing that happens on Arena where you put a bunch of things into play and then the stack of triggers
just keeps growing. Oh, I'm very familiar. I'm intimately familiar with that appearance, like that vision.
That experience. Yeah, So we set up basically a situation like that. We work through all of that. I have a Grim Guardian in among that. So we burn the table for 11. That kills one of the players.
Awesome.
the Planeswalker Mage ended up dying to the Levon player because I guess they figured they could handle the rest of us.
Okay.
We'll see if that was the correct decision. So I get there burning the a couple, like one of the players out. We have a Thassa's Devourer and the Eerie Mill Crab. I forget what its actual name is, but it's like it's an Eerie Mill Crab. I don't know what you want from me, dude.
Eerie Mill Crab. Is it like is it a new one?
Yeah, it's a crab that when an enchantment you control
Isn't
enters...
it the one with the skull face, maybe?
Yes, it's that guy.
Okay, yeah, I'll look it up while you keep going, but I know exactly which one you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, both of those end up doing mill 2 on constellation triggers. So we point a total of mill 44 at the homie on Levon, thinking maybe that's going to be enough to mill him out. So all of my triggers resolve. I've got a pretty formidable board state. I have ways to like gain life, and I've drawn a bunch of cards off of the blue Enchantress. So I've got a bunch of options. I'm feeling confident. We pass the turn.
Scrambling Skullcrab.
Yeah, that guy, Scrabbling Skullcrab. It has Eerie, and that's why we call it
enchantment
Eerie
or a room, or whenever you fully unlock a room, target player mills 2 cards. Another 1 mana 0-something crab that mills people.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing that's happening with crabs. They're linking that to high toughness, and they mill. Okay, I was just thinking about a gutter snipe that's a mill crab, but we can fantasize about that later. Anyway,
I thought you were. I don't know why. My thought was you were thinking about like crab carcinization, but for Magic, it's 1 mana 0/3 crabs that mill people.
Everything returns to crab.
Everything returns to crab, whether we like it or not.
All right, so I pass the turn to the Spells Mage with all of their creatures are like tapped down and stunned because I had that fear of
sleep paralysis.
Yes, exactly. It
fucking love that fucking one.
It's triggers, so cool. And it says that stun counters can't be removed. So I'm feeling extremely fucking confident. Like, you will not be able to attack me. I don't know how you possibly win this game. Homie shows me a Mizzix's fucking mastery, and I'm just like, all right, that's how you win the game. GG's.
Get fucked. Holy shit. Mizzix's mastery is always that one thing. This is going to go into the discussion. It's going to go into the soapbox in a second here. But it's like, I think one of the things about Mill, and some of the new creature cards that are out in this set really do heavily lean on the mill part in blue. I'm thinking of that new 3 mana 10/1 that can't be blocked, but it mills every one of your opponents for 10.
Yes, the Mind Skinner, that's in this deck because it's an enchantment creature.
It's, first of all, very cool design. Second of all, did not read or comprehend that it milled all of your opponents for 10. And I was listening to the Howling Saltmine podcast where, because now they're MTG ambassadors, they got to do a extra salty episode where they talked about the salty cards of Duskmourn. They're like, nah, actually, this card fucks. I think it was Mike who's like, I fucking hate this card. Like, all right, well, those are the two sides of the table.
Mill is always extremely polarizing.
Have your arbitrary 1 damage just go off towards and just fucking kill that thing. But like, because most commander players who aren't heavily leaning on a very like singular plane direction, and their graveyard is a secondary resource on top of like, your life total and all this other shit, that like on the one hand, milling your opponents out can be a great thing because they lose the resources. On the other hand, your opponent flips a Mizzix's Mastery, and then you're like, well, I fucking did this shit to myself and I have no one else to blame. And
and the same thing basically happened like from me and the Planeswalker Mage, because I only have all of these creatures in my graveyard because you hit me with the Jace ult twice.
Yeah, it's like,
sometimes you do it to yourself.
The Lucky Luciano meme. The Lucky Luciano meme of the guy standing on the sidewalk And it's like, I had to do it to them, and it's like, I had to do it to myself.
Had to do it to me.
Oh, brutal stuff. But still, all things considering, besides the Mystics Mastery flip, like, you still had a pretty good time with a neat concept out of the gate.
Yeah, I feel extremely confident that Rooms as an archetype is going to be a cool deck. People are probably going to build like 5-color rooms and just have all of the rooms.
I'd believe it. I
every
would,
enchantress and all it. Like the deck is going to look like that. I think limiting it to 3 colors was a cool exploration of some of the less seen cards for the archetype, though. You get to see what blue and black do more with enchantress, and that was cool.
Yeah. Do I just use this as the jumping off point to talk about the 2 decks that I have made, and then we'll talk about next episode likely? But no, every time a new set comes out where they pick a theme, like, or they have like a thematic design thing going on, like, obviously we go... So this is actually really interesting now that I'm thinking about it in retrospect, because on the one hand, you can look at Duskmourn and be like, cool, this is Universes Beyond Stranger Things or whatever. Like, that's what some people... They're like... That's what some people said.
I guess.
People say a lot of shit about all these types of sets that, like...
If that's the only 80s horror property that you're familiar with, then sure. But there are plenty of other pieces of media that look exactly like this.
It is a collage piece of like 80s horror things and all this other stuff. That's fine, whatever. Campiness, the actual seriousness, and all this other stuff. So you have this really kind of weird mechanical part of there's the horror theme part, but it's more modern. But you can kind of squint. And you're like, it's kind of like Innistrad because there's some fucked up shit going on. In this artwork,
there's some fucked up shit going on, but it is fucked up in a completely different way than the way that shit is fucked up on that blend.
But you also have like this really weird, as we pointed out, like an enchantment sub theme that harkens to Theros, except it's just there's no thematic ties to like either of these particular planes that I've been talking about. And then on top of that, they're like, cool, so. Because of this focus on enchantments, we will, and also because of the new room design space, which is also just so fucking cool. The whole, okay, let's go. I'm going to take a minor tangent here. I've been thinking about trying to do a Magic the Gathering RPG thing that is super loosey-goosey on rules, and I'm trying to figure some shit out, but the room design idea is making me think about like having a the Haunting of the Horror. No, hold on. I know what this board game is called. Hold on. Some people are already shouting it at me.
Is it Betrayal at the House on the Hill?
Yes, thank you. Oh god, thank god you know. Okay, perfect. So whether or not it's like multiplayer or whatever, like, you guys go through all these rooms and, hey, can you roll some dice to like figure out what you find there? And then you get a combination of items or whatever. And then it's like, cool. So you're the arch enemy. Everyone bring out your commander decks. And now we're going to have a game or like whatever. Like, it's kind of going to be like that. I've been kind of working on it. Quinn, I've sent you some like concept stuff. So I'm going to be working on that, and maybe we'll try to get that around Halloween. I don't know. But I like what I'm seeing with the room design, and I think it's very cool, and it's the fact that they were able to tie the room theme to a lot of cards. There's a draft archetype. I think is it? Or is it?
Yeah, there's blue-red rooms. There's rooms tempo. Yeah,
there's like a blue-red rooms tempo draft archetype. But also
you can also just play rooms in every color.
Yeah,
because almost everything has an eerie thing that they're doing, or you can take advantage of multiple like card types with enchantment or whatever. Like there's ways to use rooms no matter what color you're in, but everybody's going to use them differently, and the way that they do that is interesting to explore.
And it's pretty interesting that they did only monocolor rooms, and because of how light.
No, there's hybrid rooms.
Am I crazy?
There's like a blue-red one.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't see any I was doing my red-white Scryfall search, and I just didn't see any red-white rooms, at least as far as
there isn't a red-white room as far as I'm aware, but there's
Boo.
blue-red rooms and there's a blue-white room. So I
Okay.
think they're like trying to stealthily encourage Jeskai rooms.
Ooh, that'll be interesting to see. But anyway, the point I'm trying to get to is the fact that, like, most cards with 2 separate effects printed on a single card, NBSC, Fuse cards from Ravnica, the other flip cards from, like, Kamigawa and stuff, is that they're trying to do different designs, but you have more than one option, and because of how you're unlocking rooms by casting it and then having it enter. Like, you cast it, you don't unlock the room, you cast the spell, see if it works, you cast whatever half, then the room enters, and then you unlock that side of the room, and all the other stuff. Like, I just think that's a really neat design, super cool, and a lot of the rooms, even, like, the more subtle, uncommon rarity ones, I think are actually worth looking into, even for, like, Commander. I was looking at, I think there's a red one where you pay 3 and you exile the top 2 cards of your library until your next turn, and the other one is attacking creatures you control get +1/+0 until, and maybe gain trample, if I'm remembering off the top of my head, but I think it's just +1/+0. But,
yeah, I cannot remember the exact room, but there's one a lot like it in the form of Ticket Booth and Tunnel of Hate, which, like, when you unlock this door, manifest Dread in the Ticket Booth, and then the Tunnel of Hate, whenever you attack, target attacking creature gains double strike until end of turn. There's just, like, a lot of cool things that hold hands together like that.
it's just, no, so yeah, it's more card per card. Yo, dog, I heard you like cards. You know, like, that's how I do like the design space. So it's just neat to see how everything kind of coalesces together, and your deck just proves the point of, like, yeah, this shit's pretty great.
Yeah, shit's great. Try rooms, gamers. Do you have a favorite room, Cole?
Well, I am looking at Unholy Annex and the Ritual Chamber.
We love the Phyrexian Arena.
With the Phyrexian Arena, but it's going on here in step. But the Convoke one.
Oh, I don't know what the name is, but it's like white and gives creature spells Convoke.
Yeah, the one side gives creature spells Convoke. The other one is untap all untap creatures at every untap every untap step, I think. So
okay, Dazzling Theater and Prop Room. Creature spells you cast have Convoke on the Dazzling Theater half, and then Prop Room. Untap each creature you control during each other player's untap step.
yeah, so I think there's already been some kind of minor buzz, and then John, Dark Hawkeye, reached out and was like, "Do you think this card is like ban worthy?" I'm like, "Man, it's only for creatures. Like, let's calm down." Like,
No, I don't think that's ban worthy.
if it's crap, there was a spirit, I think, from like Kamigawa. No, was it Kamigawa or was it Innistrad that just untaps your creatures?
There's a lot of guys that do that.
No, I know, but I mean, there's a white one that's a spirit that's like a 2/1 for 3 that like does that for your creatures, your
Oh,
vehicles.
Drum Bellower.
Drum Bellower. Like one of it is just basically Drum Bellower on an enchantment. So like, I don't know, that just seems pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
If you have activated abilities.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go for it.
Oh, I did actually like end a game in a Jeskai deck that just happened to have Dollmaker Shop and Porcelain Gallery in it. You make a bunch of toys that are artifact creatures, which is really good for the deck that I built with Jeskai Time Counters and Kate Stewart. And the Porcelain Gallery is basically a Craterhoof. Like, I go to combat.
If you have enough creatures in play, it's definitely like Craterhoof Plus.
Yeah,
Moonshaker
unlock
Cavalry,
that, suddenly
whatever.
all of my guys are 15/15s, and when I attack, I'm attacking 3 opponents with non-toy creatures, so I'll make
But
3
oh
more dudes
geez,
and
if
make them
someone
3 bigger.
if someone hits you with a board wipe, your freaking 5 mana 5/5 is a 1/1. Like if
Yeah, I mean, that's the downside, but you just gotta play a lot of their army in a can effects, and you'll get over it.
Yeah.
Also,
no.
there's technology to lock rooms if you do get blown out.
Yeah, that is super interesting to be able to like. I don't know. Again, it's their enchantment, so like obviously they're going to see some kind of play, and Enchantress decks are definitely going to love it. And you're playing room centric stuff; it's great. I'm definitely eyeballing a few of them. I got a few of them on pre-order already, but
Ooh.
yeah. Also, some of them are.
Did you get the bling printings?
I think I'm just gonna be on the safe side. I think maybe I got one bling printing, but I think on the safe side, I'm just gonna keep it to regular or foil. printings, and then if I wanna do fancy extended art upgrades, like I just gonna wait to see if like prices go down, because we're still in like pre-release season.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, I got one last room to fangirl about.
Okay,
the Central Corridor and Promising Stairs. It's extremely funny to me. When you unlock this room, or this door to the central elevator, search your library for a room card that doesn't have the same name as a room you control, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. And then the Promising Stairs, at the beginning of your upkeep, surveil one. You win the game if there are 8 or more different rooms, or different names among unlocked doors of rooms you control. So they give you a little like rooms-based win condition to chase after.
Yeah, it's again, man, I am probably going to come back in like 2 weeks and be like, rooms are the greatest shit ever made. This technology is fucking sweet. And like, I don't know. It's cool. I think everyone can at least find one half they can be excited about. And then the other half just happens to be some kind of like minor upside. Like, again, it's 2 cards effects stapled to 1. Even if you got half of what a card can do, like, it's pretty damn good on its own.
A lot of these have really good rates for their effects.
Like, I'm just thinking, like, the fact that, like, again, we're going to be going back to Unholy Annex for a second here, but, like, when you're thinking about 3 mana enchantments that allows you to draw cards, and then you also maybe circumstantially lose life or not, like, we are in the era, again, oh god, I keep wanting to go to the fucking soapbox. Again,
let's go there then.
No, hold on. We'll get there in a second. One more. Okay, hold on. Side tangent, Phyrexian Arena, fucking tangent here in a second here. No, I had to talk about our Bosmir. TLDR. Okay, so I had mentioned that a friend of mine had expressed wanted to play Pauper, and then I managed to save everyone by saying we wanted to play Artisan, because mentally, every time someone mentions Pauper EDH, I do a mental clock reset and just be
Start the clock.
0 days since Pauper EDH mentioned on random tangent that was not meant to be about Pauper. So I'm like, cool, hey, don't do that. They're like, cool, so I'm coming back in 3 months, or I'm coming back in a month, let's play Artisan. I'm like, cool, yeah. So I build Arbor's Mirror because I opened a couple of them in my, box. I'm like, cool. This tickles my fancy. I have a bunch of, like, random-ass eggs-ish sort of, artifacts. So the eggs archetype, I guess, in Magic is, like, pay your artifact that can sacrifice itself and draw you a card, or enter and draw you a card and be sacrificed later for an effect or whatever. And in Arbaz Mirror, you're wanting to try to keep your hand relatively full and just keep consistently playing artifacts that allows you to deal +1 damage to all your opponents in game on life. They're not fucking playing Grima Wormtongue, which is only one of the other decks that showed up that night. There was a lot of pretty cool spread. I'll talk about that next time or in the future or whatever. But like, someone was playing Black Green Elves. Someone was playing the uncommon Jolene from Thunder Junction, involving like treasure tokens, which was pretty sick. Great turnout. Excellent turnout. We got 4 games in that night. Super sweet. But I was like, okay, Artisan, great. Laura, what do I do? And she's like, cool, do this. I'm like, oh wait, yeah, Teshar's an uncommon. That's just kind of that's kind of fucks. And then I'm like, uncommon Loran from Brothers War, that when she or another legendary creature enters, you return an artifact from your graveyard to your hand, and then you can use that to cast a artifact to trigger your Teshar to bring back a 3-mana creature, 3 mana or less creature. So it's like, and what if that creature's legendary? I don't know, trigger Arbaz Mirror. What if it's Arbaz Mirror? Trigger Arbaz Mirror. You're great. It's great. It's fantastic. So I just go fucking nuts. People are like, turns out some of us had like similar ideas of like cast spell, make people lose life. The Grima Wormtongue deck was basically every variant of cast a spell, target opponent loses life. Cast a spell, target opponent loses life, you gain that much life. Cast the spell that got lowered in rarity from Commander Legends, that's double black and X, drain everyone for X life, you gain X life.
Oh, Exsanguinate.
Exsanguinate. Exsanguinate is uncommon, people. Get that extended artwork and fucking just be like, cool, I'm playing Exsanguinate now. Like, no one can be mad at that anymore. But, yeah, I just start casting all these various different eggs, and now, as I come in for round 2 retrospect, I started adding more of those types of effects. It's just so awesome. Like, cool, cast this 2-mana artifact, draw a card. Cast this 2-mana artifact, drain you, draw a card. Cast this 2-mana artifact, drain you, draw a card. Wait. Sacrifice them all, bring them back, do it all over again. And people were like, holy fuck, like, this is like a pretty neat little deck. You probably got rid of Varbosmir and maybe, like, not be able to bring him back in any way. Yeah, that deck's hosed. I can't do anything else. But, very cool. I have, like, Magebane Lizard from Thunder Junction and Rug of Smothering. So, while I'm casting numerous spells on the same turn, I'm losing life, but I'm also gaining life to offset it. But my opponents are like, I have to think about
have to actually consider whether or not they're gonna storm.
Yeah, so I'm like, you try to match me, I'm just gonna beat you out on this. Like, I'm gonna make you lose life while gaining some life to offset it, but you're also just gonna lose life. So it's just a Boros burn deck. It's a Boros artifact eggs burn deck, and it's fucking super awesome. And
oh yeah, dude, that sounds sick.
Besides the Grima Wormtongue deck preventing me from gaining life, they were like, damn, I actually cannot raise the fact that I'm also circumstantially losing life off of all these, like, mono black draw spells. If I can't be like, I don't have Sign in Blood because I would totally love to target you if you were at 2 life, but I also need this card draw. And then they're like, but I also lose life, and then you're still burning me, so I'm just really just, like, not doing so hot. So yeah, we will probably be doing that in the future. Honor Worn Shaku is also fucking dumb as, like, a mana rock when you have all this stuff out. It was just like, damn, this is just awesome. So, version 2 will probably be discussed in the future. I think we're trying to get together this weekend. I'll have to double check my schedule to make sure I can make it out, but most likely. And then, 2 decks I'm working on worked on and we'll talk about in the future once I get some games in is a off-the-shelf, creatures only, Honest Rutstein with an Umori companion. It's a sweet list. I love it. I was like, you made Taneb the Harvester. I think I can fucking do this stuff. So
yeah.
Will be cool to see how this all turns out. I have Soul of the Harvest and Harvester of Souls in the 6-drop slot, and I'm just like, yeah, this is fucking awesome. I can play both of these in foil. It's going to be great.
Nice.
Cost reduction to make them at least 4 mana between Umori and Rutstein. And the whole concept of, like, the Dance Macabre episode that they did in the Legendary Creature podcast, I'm like, it's kind of like that because Rutstein can get your creatures back from your graveyard and a few other things. And then you mentioned the Underworld Lich earlier.
Yeah, Under Realm Lich.
Under Realm Lich. So someone in the Discord mentioned that, and I was like, fuck, I do have that. Maybe I should consider that. So we'll be trying that.
It's extremely good. If I'm in green-black, I want to think about playing it always.
Yeah, so I'll probably try to jam that in and get a game in with that soon. Same thing with my Anti-Flash, the Veteran Curses deck that was based off of the Brew Review episode that I mentioned earlier that Cody and Laz did. For BonzaiEntertainment's Kellan list. And that's the Kellan the Fableheaded. And I was like, I played it once, and it was like, no, this isn't going to do it. But then Light, the Phyrexian, had been in my ear a few months ago when, I think the last time I mentioned Anti-Flash, and was like, yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. And they're like, actually. And then I'm sitting here months later like, hey, actually... so it'll be interesting to see how this one turns out. I actually do kind of like what I put into the deck, but we'll have to actually do some playtesting and figure out what the fuck's going on there. But also being able to pay 6 to bring a curse deck if someone blows it up or you pitched it earlier for like 3 mana and be like, oh no, it enters tapped anyway. Do this on end step. Bring a curse back. Put Curse of like Clinging Mists or whatever. Maddening Hex. Shit like that. So, check that out. In a couple weeks and check the list out now. We'll just see how that goes. And now, hear ye, my soapbox for this episode.
Alright, we're finally here.
It's a fucking long one, so just, get comfy. This is a this is a bit of a nuanced one and a complicated one that would probably take more than a half hour.
Bro, stop making excuses and get into it.
Okay, so card advantage, card selection, Faithless Looting style effects of Commander, burst card draw effects, Phyrexian arena effects, etc., etc., etc. Magic's pretty fucking complicated, Commander's pretty complicated, but obviously in order for you to participate, let alone win in any Commander game, isn't just overwhelming value on the battlefield, you still need to be able to back up your shit by having some kind of cards in hand. Whether that's one single card that wins you the game at the end of everything, by fucking top decking it with a fucking Fomori Vault, or drawing fucking half your library by casting, like, oh, I don't know, fucking Peer into the Abyss, or casting some fucking dumb bullshit fucking blue spell, or not paying your fucking taxes with Rhystic Study, and then that player's just like, okay, cool, you weren't being responsible, this is your punishment for me not being kept in check, despite you, you know. Like, the thing is that, like, I get that Magic is becoming faster and everything. That is just a consequence of time moving forward. That's a consequence of power creep. We're having over 30 fucking years of Magic. Like, this shit is going to be happening. You need to be able to have draw engines that are consistently good on their own. Yes, I already mentioned Rhystic Study, but that's the one immediately I'm thinking of off the top of my head. Mystic Remora, Esper Sentinel, you know, you get like 3 cards per turn rotation or whatever at most, or least, or whatever. But, like, you know, that's the real shit. It's the meat and potatoes. The same way that you gotta have removal and interaction as your fucking veggies, you gotta make sure you have card draw. And we're also entering the point where it's like, again, we've been mentioning Unholy Annex already, but there's also Black Market Connections, which is just, of course, that but better. Because on top of you having card draw, you're able to make a treasure, you're able to make a body. Go full fucking send. Don't complain to me when someone caps your life gain, Quinn. And then you fucking like, cool, well, I guess I got nothing else to lose. And then you pay another 6 and get all those resources. Like, it's crazy. It's absolute madness. But, like, here's the thing. I am simultaneously sick and tired of people giving shit to certain color combinations that just don't have the same functional type of card draw. Like, guys, it's 2024. White can draw cards. Like, obscenely. But the difference is, on top of having your singular copy of a card or effect that draws you a bunch of cards, white can also assemble like 6 or 7 different draw effects over time. And then all you need to do is put a fucking soldier in play and draw cards. Like,
yeah, they're like, this soldier enters, trigger Tokasia's welcome, triggering welcoming
Vampire,
trigger.
the new enduring whatever fucking Fox Glimmer that's coming out in Duskmourn. Like, we got it. Play your freaking Mentor of the Meek. I know you don't want to pay 1 mana for that, but guess what? If you're playing
and it was a token, so we'll trigger Caretaker's Talent.
Yeah, Caretaker's Talent. Like, this, like, we can do this, but the other side of it is the obvious fact of, like, you need mana and card draw to play your cards and win the game. There is not just a mechanical side to things, there is the social and psychological part of playing the game, where it's like, if you fucking put your foot down on the pedal to the fucking floor, people are gonna freak the fuck out. Okay?
So true, bestie.
People need to fucking calm their fucking shit. And look, Mr. Fitz, if you are listening to this, and sometimes he cheekily tells me when he does listen to it, and I'm like, oh no. But, like, look, I use Mr. Fitz as a prime example of a man who jams Rhystic Study in every commander deck. And I gotta tell you, when man has been spurned like Fitz has when I've blown up his Consecrated Sphinx or his Rhystic Study, and then he says, I'm sending you to the secret layer zone, bro. And I'm like, then maybe you shouldn't play different cards, dude. That is what I'm trying to say. You cannot overtly put this shit in play and then expect people to sit back and not deal with your shit, right? Like, if you draw 20 cards and you pass the turn, and you have a a Reliquary Tower out, I don't trust the shit you're gonna do. And if you're playing some mono blue control thing where you have 7 mana open, a full grip, and you pass the turn, I don't trust jack or shit about what you're fucking doing for that turn cycle. I just can't
100%.
do it. And look, guys, if you have, like, I'm going way off script here. So, like, okay, so here's the thing. Let's get back on track before I go back off the script again. So, like, I get it. The more you see of your deck, regardless of how you choose to do it, you actually draw the physical card with no trade-off, or you pitch it through looting or rummaging or whatever. I get it. Because you're trying to manage your resources, you want to hit your land drops. By the time you hit 7, 10, like, turn 7 through 10, you want to be able to hit your shit so you can win the game. I get it. But again, you do too much, you need to be kept in check. The times that we've talked about stacks, because the game's going too fast, guess what? We need more Razorkin Needleheads. We need more fucking Shieldred the Apocalypses. God forbid that card dropped in price, but whatever.
All
It's
right,
still
hang
in
on,
standard.
relax.
Okay.
She's maybe a little much. I don't know if she needed to gain life.
Play more Spirit of the Labyrinth. Because
Okay, that's fine.
people need to have their resources be kept in check. If you cannot play the Magic game fairly, you don't deserve half your library in your hand. That's all I gotta say about it. Now, if you draw 20 cards and you win the game on the spot, well, I don't know what to tell you, okay? I get it. You earn that 20, you earn that win. I get it. But the other part of this is, if you gotta be subtle. You gotta just do your Phyrexian Arena shit. Because the rate sucks, right? Like, look, you play your cards, you draw for the turn. Congratulations, you're +1. If we're only looking at it from a base context of playing a game from turn 1 to turn 10, you're only seeing 10 cards. At least. I get it. It sucks. It's subtle. Play the fucking game. Who cares, right? But if you play your Phyrexian Arenas, your Unholy Annexes, you play your Faithless Lootings or whatever, you are still seeing more things. You're still seeing more cards, but the shit is way more subtle, and people don't have to freak the fuck out about it. You know? You get to write, like, again, do your small uwu bean bullshit, but kind of just do it, like, a little bit more, like, than normal. And, like, if you can see 16 cards deeper than you normally would or whatever, like, you're already doing better. And you don't have social pressure of 3 other people being like, whoa, bro, calm down. You don't need, like, half your library in hand. Where am I going with this, right? I think I'm just going to skip.
Great question.
So, I'm losing the script, Quinn. I'm losing the plot. Okay. Again, and there's numerous ways to do it, like card draw now. Again, looting and rummaging. White usually has some way to do trade-offs now. White can also gift cards to people because there's the social element. There's the social etiquette element. There's the psychological element. There's the, hey, I'll help you draw an additional card because we're in the bin. Here's a gift. People are like, hell yeah. Is it crazy in the grand scheme of things because it's only +1 card versus +5? No, but the engine's still going, right? So, and in addition to that, because all these color combinations, like, say what you will about green and blue and black, but guess what? Red can do its shit too. White can do its shit. So if you're playing it, lean into it. Don't complain about it. I don't want to fucking hear it. So again, the psychological warfare is nuts. Like, you can't get away with that shit. And if you're gonna be a fucking greedy cardboard goblin, you're gonna need to be answered, or you have to deal with it. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts. So those 20 cards better help you win that game. Or protect your shit, you know? Now, at the same time, I just wish people would appreciate Phyrexian Arena more, you know? This is what it's really getting down to here, is the subtle shit. Is like, Phyrexian Arena, to me, is a benchmark indication of the type of game that I'm expecting with you. Because Phyrexian Arena by itself, you can't even really define as an engine because its rate is just so low. It's an additional card for 1 life at the beginning of your turn. That's it. 3 mana, double black, 1. That's it. But I'm not going to lose my fucking shit if you play that. If you play Black Market Connections, if you play Rhystic Study, if you play Mystic Remora, yes, maybe some people are kept in check because they don't want to cast spells, they're going to pay their rates or whatever for, like, yes, I will pay my 1. Got it.
Yeah, I try and pay the one for a stick study every time, but that's still a thing that then I'm like, okay, I'm going to blow that up yourself because I have to fucking think about it.
And because of, despite the fact that, like, power level discrepancy, my deck is a 7, okay, but why are you playing, like, CDH stables and shit? What you put in the battlefield indicates to people the type of game that they can expect. And if you want to play more powerful shit, you gotta tell people what you're fucking looking forward to doing. Because if someone's playing their freaking Phyrexian Arena and you're playing your Rhystic Study, you both, I think, have just wildly different expectations. It's not even about budget at that point. I just like the Phyrexian text. Jason Vraska, fucking Phyrexian Arena. Leave me in my fucking corner. I love this shit. So, again, what am I...
Cole's over here smoking mids. We're all over here smoking mids.
But yeah, like, I'm allergic to Simic bullshit, so, like, I'm just so sick and tired of just, like, green just draws a bunch of cards. I get it. I would rather lean into Mardu and try to figure out, okay, I got 3 colors that are half decent at drawing cards in some combination. What is my commander? How do I try to assemble this? And how do I try to do it consistently over time so I can still stay in this game, but I'm also going to raise any alarm bells? And it's stuff like Phyrexian Arena. It's stuff like some of the new red draw effects that are, like, over time. There's stuff that's stapled to creatures. Like, hey, I don't know about you all, Professional Facebreaker? Yeah, that thing makes you treasures, but there's a fucking line of text that says you can sacrifice treasures to exile cards at the top of your library. I don't know if you noticed that. Most people probably don't.
Oh yeah, she'll show you a bunch of cards if you let her. It's actually really clutch. Sometimes you think you just like, yeah, I have nothing going on. What am I going to do? And then you look at your Descent into Avernus Treasures and you look at your Professional Facebreaker and suddenly a plan develops and it's just like, all right.
So here's what...
There's some hope.
Here's the thing I'm trying to say, right? And this goes down into the nuances and the differences between, like, do you want to play mids? Play mid payoffs that don't immediately get you killed the minute you start playing them, that get you there to the finish line over time, and, like, aren't going to break your budget if you even give a shit. Like, play on Moxfield or Proxy or whatever. But, like, also it matches the expectations of the people that you're playing with. Know when to be subtle about these types of, like, card draw engines. Know when to be overt and put your foot to the pedal and also win that fucking game, like most things. Of, like, if you can do it, do it. Don't fucking do it. Don't fucking Armageddon me and have us sit there for 5 more fucking turns. I gotta try to play my Phyrexian Arena so I can fucking get back in this game on top of the lands I'm just gonna try to hit. Don't shy away from certain colors because their card advantages operate on a different mechanical level than some of the tried and true expected stuff. And just play more shit like Underworld Dreams, because some people are fucking greedy, and if anyone's gonna suffer, it might as well be them and not you. Finally, to top it up, I am really looking forward to the likes of Unholy Annex, because I also recognize the fact that playing Phyrexian Arena on 3 and not drawing a card sucks for you having to draw it on turn 4, but then playing Unholy Annex, despite having a higher life loss, allows you to draw the card the turn you play it. So, how do I conclude this fucking thesis statement? No, that was that was it.
Yeah, that was it. Know when to be subtle, know when to be overt. Don't shy away from colors because you're afraid of the way
I don't know who that enchantment hag is from Theros that also does...
Oh, Fate Unraveler. They put her in the Rakdos group slug prefab.
Hell fucking yeah. Love that. But anyway, yeah, it's just, you know what? Like, it goes to the life loss thing of last episode. It goes into discussions of, like, when and how to play stacks, because that is how White tends to keep up with shit, is by making sure people fucking keep in check. And if you can't attack people from that angle, you might as well make sure that they can be attacked from a different way. And if that means every alternative under the sun that isn't Shieldred the Apocalypse, so be it.
Well, listen, you're allowed to play Shelly. I play her in the 99 of my Owling Mind deck.
You would.
She's a good card. Yeah. What do you want from me? She burns people for drawing cards. She's extremely powerful, and I happened to be able to get one at a price that I found acceptable. So she goes in the deck.
Now...
And she's in the 99, so when you Swords to Plowshares her, she goes away forever.
This soapbox will not be including another thing I have in mind about the idea about wheels and like the logistics of that and like the pros and cons and everything. But it's like, look, I love Wheel of Misfortune, in case you didn't know, and I fucking love casting that spell, because, oh shit, that makes some people make some fucking decisions. And sometimes they make bad decisions. And I love it. I don't even have to attack their hand. They do it to themselves.
I just want to, like, weigh in, I guess, with my experience on playing subtle card advantage engines versus the, like, overt bursts of cards. You can pretty much stick a Phyrexian Arena, and it's basically hexproof. Like, nobody's looking
No
at
one
that,
will
like,
care,
I need to remove it. And I've done that and looked at a lot of cards that way, and it felt very cool and good. I also really like the new one from MH3, Ripples of Undeath, which has you mill 3 cards.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
pay 1 and 3 life to put a card from among those into your hand. So you get, like, incredible card selection, and it puts cards into your graveyard so that you can access them in your second hand if you need to later. And again, nobody's looking sideways at that one. I do think that if you have enough of effects like that, then people probably are supposed to, like, press you and make sure that you have less of the life total that you're using as a resource to spend on cards. But that's just, like, playing the game well, I understand. But for the most part, just like one of those will go overlooked for quite some time, and I think that's fine. It's when I cast spells like Peer into the Abyss and literally draw half my library, or I rip a massive Stargaze and I look incredibly deep.
Stargaze
and
is
the best
so
cards.
cool.
Yeah, I really like that one. That's that new sorcery from Bloomborough with incredible Serena Malion art with
the bat.
with like stars in their eyes.
So good. Double
It's
black.
such a sick piece.
Double black and X. Look at twice X to the top of your library. Lose X life. Pick one. Put the rest in your graveyard, or put the rest in the bottom.
In your graveyard.
Yeah.
So you don't even
holy
like permanently
shit.
get rid of the stuff. It's incredible. And every time I resolve one of those, I feel awesome. And people are probably supposed to be like, we should probably be the fuck up after casting one of those for a big enough amount. Because you just, like, you're going to find exactly what you need.
Like,
and your graveyard is fixed for later.
The thing, like, that's, again, just to kind of, like, go back into everything. It's like, your graveyard can be effectively your second hand. There's a lot of effect. The same way that a lot of your cards can draw you stuff over the course of a game in any color combination is the same way that you can access the stuff in your graveyard for later. And like let's be honest here, the Radun Hagadoon deck that I've been talking about for the last few weeks or months. Oh shit, time flies when you're having fun.
Truly.
Like, I had Ripples of Undeath in there earlier, and I think I took it out for the Shay Cormac Loris deck. Because, again, fundamentally the same thing. You can pay the 1 and some life and put the card back in your hand, but you still have 2 stuff for later, which may or may not include an Elber's the Binding Blade in your graveyard for when you hit someone, and then you hit someone, and then you later hit someone with it and then make a 13/13, and you lose the game because someone took control of it. That totally didn't happen to me.
That's rough, buddy.
Oh, but it was so, I was like, nah, you know what, this shit's cool. That's fine. But yeah, there's just so much nuance that goes into it. And, I just wish I have an obscenely weird sense of fair play when it comes to Magic. And I like powerful stuff. I know I like powerful stuff, but there's sometimes people that do certain things that are just fundamentally more powerful out of the gate and requires like little effort to do the thing. And those types, like, again, that's why I play Odric Blinkhurst. It's like, I want the deck and the experience to be a testament to my allergic reaction to blue, and I try to do things in a Boros way that black would make like a black deck blush by bringing like Gisela Blade of Gold Knight back to like the battlefield or whatever. So it's like, there's I feel as if people, I'm not like play your mid-range mid-pile, I'm just saying, and it kind of caters to the stuff I mentioned back in the content part with like Salubrious, Snail and stuff, is that like a lot of people's doing the thing is tied to the win condition, or maybe the thing in the command zone, which may or may not be part of a combo. Sharoom, the Hegemon. Alex?
Oh yeah, you put Sharoom
Sorry,
in the
sorry,
command
not
zone, and you're like, "Well, I want to do the thing," and my Sharoom, the thing, is winning the game with an infinite combo. Sorry.
And Andy sent me a photo in Discord of that alt art Sharoom with like the crown emblem from like one of the vaults, or was it from the vault's artifacts or from the vault, whatever. But it's like, damn. Guess it's time to bust out the fucking museum piece and see what kind of fucking shit you can get up with without going that far. You know, it's like, if you know, unless you're playing freaking Trash Magic or CDH, like you can just chill out and then start doing shit at the end game, because a lot of this stuff can like assemble good engines without like making people freak the fuck out immediately.
Yeah, allow the synergy to build up over time, and then you snowball into your win or whatever.
Yeah. Like, the end game is going to happen, and if you just end up snowballing, like, it's just going to happen. There's no avoiding it. But, like, you know, rev your engine. Don't fucking just immediately go from 0 to 100.
Sometimes gamers, mids are loud.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what people will get out of that soapbox, because part of that was, like, just sheer rambling and then looking at my list and being like, I just jumped, like, 2 paragraphs ahead, and I don't know
Gamers,
if I circle.
weigh in the comments. Man, I almost said weigh in the 99 Lamau.
New podcast title, Way in the 99.
Yeah, weigh in the comments about your experiences with card advantage engines, or like big bursts of card draw, and how that like affects the perception of you at the game table as like a threat or whatever. What do you get away with, and what's your favorite way to look at extra cards per turn?
I just realized, because we're getting to the end of the episode here, I just realized that I skipped the mono blue section, because I was just like, if you have a full hand and open mana, like, I just don't trust your shit.
We don't need to worry about
that. Look, I'm just saying, if you're a mono blue player and you just, like, hold everyone hostage with random ass counter spells, do you just have a lack of control in your real life that you have to fiddle fuck with everyone else's shit in a card game?
You do not need to roast blue players on the live, like on the mic like that.
I do, and I say this as someone with a Thrix the Sudden Storm mono blue deck that does that exact shit.
The rumor come out. Cole is control mage.
The rumor come out is does Cole shit.
Does Cole is control?
Does control. Oh God. Is that the episode title?
That's your the rumor come out. Does Cole is control?
Oh shit. That's too funny. Alright, Quinn. If we got nothing else to say, where can we be found?
You can find us collectively on Twitter at HBVC_MTG. You can find me at Girldick Energy. You can find Cole at UncommonCMDR_MTG. Right?
Nope. No underscore.
I don't know, dude. No underscore. All right.
Man, I gotta go back to like Eclipse Meteor or some shit. That stuff's way too hard.
We're all doing our best. You can find this obviously where you're listening to it, but also on YouTube, so check that out. Last week we did a cool like intro related to Armored Core and also ban list stuff that's very cool and funny, and I soundtracked it, so check that out. And we got anything else?
Nah.
That's it?
I don't know, maybe expect something at the end of I don't know. I said a thing earlier. I'm going to try to work on the project with Quinn. It might be a one-time episode on here. We're going to try to figure that out and let you know what's going on. Next episode will be a guest, which will be announced later as real light shifts going on. I just want to double-check with that person. Got to double-check with a couple people. And then we'll basically just have 3 more guest episodes for the rest of the year.
Yeah, we're perpetually in our big things coming arc, so you know what the fuck it is. Stay tuned, gamers. And on that note, Cole, let's get the fuck out of here.
To the secret layer zone we go.
Later, gamers.